Now, the head of the largest aluminum maker in America, Alcoa, says demand from China will lift global prices. Bloomberg's Stephen Angle joins us from the Beijing newsroom with the details. Steve.
Hey, Haslinda. Well, Alcoa CEO Klaus Kleinfeld telling Bloomberg News in an exclusive interview that, in his estimation, China is back. He's raising his 2009 forecast for global aluminum consumption because of Chinese demand. Quickly, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the story, let's check mainland aluminum producers' shares, because they've opened up in the last couple of minutes in Shanghai and in Shenzhen. And across the board, most are higher, including Aluminum Corporation of China, Chalco, the largest producer, up 1.4%. Overall up day for the Shanghai market, albeit very slightly, just about 0.1% higher. But as you can see, most of the industry peers of Chalco's, the smaller aluminum smelters, are higher in opening a few minutes. Alcoa says it expects Chinese aluminum consumption to rise 4% this year, compared with Alcoa's previous prediction of flat 0% growth. That helps alter the company's global outlook for demand, which is still going to be down about 5.5%. But given China's demand, they see that's better than the 7% decline that they had forecast earlier for global demand. Alcoa is counting on the economic stimulus spending in China to boost metal demand enough to help the company return to profitability. It's had 3 consecutive net losses. Analysts surveyed by Bloomberg expect a fourth, posting a 2009 loss for Alcoa. The shares have fallen about 62% over the past 12 months. But Kleinfeld says things are starting to look up, especially because of Chinese demand. Chinese imports of aluminum and aluminum products almost doubled in the first 7 months of 2009 compared with a year earlier. Kleinfeld says, as I mentioned, China is back, adding that they have a lot of shovel-ready projects that were slated for 2011 that the government is now just starting. Investors also seem to agree about the Chinese demand picking up.
China has been a major importer of scrap metal and inputs for steel. Aluminum is a more specialized product, and I would agree that China could be a huge customer for aluminum, and this is one of the issues. Some of the infrastructure projects being built in China now are airports, hospitals, and the types of projects that use a lot of aluminum that don't necessarily create that many jobs.
But they use aluminum. Aluminum futures in Shanghai have jumped nearly 30% this year, prompting smelters to restart idled capacity. Prices in London, they're up about 20% year to date after that record 36% plunge we saw last year. Kleinfeld says the U.S. recession, in his estimation, is bottoming out and poised for a slow return, while Europe, he says, is still a mixed picture. Meanwhile, UBS has raised its profit outlooks for both BHP Billiton and Rio Tinto after the bank lifted its metal price forecast. BHP's net income now may reach $12 billion in the year ending next June. That's up more than 31% from an earlier forecast. Also, UBS saying Rio's profit may rise about 20% more than the bank's earlier forecast. UBS overnight raising its 2010 forecast for nickel by 40%. Copper by 32%, aluminum by 19%, zinc by 13% because of tight supply in the market and also improving demand, again, coming from China. It also said contract iron ore prices. BHP's biggest earner, Rio's second biggest earner, may rise 20% next year, reversing a previous estimate for a 33% decline. So some bullish sentiment on the mining sector, at least today, Haslinda.
The only way is out, if only today. Thank you so much for that, Stephen Angle. And here's